This is Bad Bob, the Shade Tree Mechanic. Today I'm working on a 05 Dodge Neon SXT. And what I'm doing today is replacing the idle air control connector and repairing the wiring. So let's head over here to my workbench / picnic table and I'll show you my tools and material. So you've got a soldering iron, some solder, a wire stripping tool, some wire cutters, a razor knife, and over here you've got rapid repair tape, self-fusing silicone tape, and I think I've used this stuff in just about every video I've done. It's good stuff. And some friction tape. Now here's the old connector. You can see that. Now one of my other previous videos I'd showed where some kind of critter like a rat had chewed through the tubing to the windshield washer nozzles, and same thing happened here. It chewed, you can see that, chewed all the way from the connector all the way to the wiring harness and left a little piece right there. And as you can see, I made a hasty repair on this because what I did is I should have used stranded wire, but I used solid core wire, which it actually broke. So this connector failed where I'd soldered it at the wiring harness. So here's my replacement. I went out to my favorite salvage yard, Pull Apart, and got a replacement connector, and with a pigtail, and the wires are color coded. You got a purple and a black wire. So let's head on over here to the vehicle and I'll show you what I did. So what I did is because I didn't have much room to work, as you can see right there, I don't know if you can see the wiring harness, I took my razor knife and I had to be very careful to just cut a little notch where I could pull enough slack of wire to work with. As you can see, the wiring harness there. And because I didn't have much room to work with, I made like an inline splice. Here's just an example. I just twisted the wires together like that and I soldered them to make a good splice. And just a tech tip for you, if you use flux first, if you like paint the wires with flux, you'll get a much smoother soldering joint. I use solder with flux in the core, which it still makes a good connection. I mean, it makes a good solder joint. And then what I did is I used rapid repair tape and secured my splices. And here's the connector. And so now that I'm done with this job, I will take some friction tape and wrap that, secure the existing wiring harness and the wires, and make a good secure wiring harness. So now this switch here, it's got a little, this connector here, it's got a little switch on there, and whenever you disconnect it, you just pull it back and there's a little tab right there. You push down that tab and it just pops out of there. So, and this is your idle air control valve. And what that device does is it regulates airflow when the engine is at idle, so you'll have a nice smooth idle. So let's go ahead and connectorize it up. And you have to line it up there, and kind of tricky, and then you push it on there and you hear it snap in, and then you want to push this little red switch forward and it snaps, and now it's locked in place. So there we go. So now let's go ahead and crank it up and see how she runs. know if you can see the tachometer there. And nice smooth idle, right around 1,000 RPM. That's what you want. And so there you go. Idle air connector replaced and wiring repaired. So this is Bad Bob, the Shade Tree Mechanic. We'll catch you on the flip flop.